Hi guys, so I have a pair of T5 captain seats to recover. They're going to be recovered in just one colour of vinyl. I'll show you the colour in a bit. But the first job is to remove this whole cover. So I've got to strip the whole seat down to get the cover off. So I'll do that now. Let's see how long this takes me. So there we go, that was about 10 minutes. So now I need to remove all the plastic parts and these metal rods that are in the seats because they're going to get sewn onto the new covers. So I'll now start to cut out the covers. This is just a single colour, nothing too fancy, a bit of stitch panels in the centre, and that's more or less it. So I'll show you the colour. That's the colour. It looks a bit orange, but it's more of a tanny orangey colour. So I already have a set of patterns for T5 front single seats. So as always with cutting anything out, always cut the biggest pieces out first. So the biggest piece on the T5 seats are the back of the backrest. That's the biggest panel. Now you always cut out the biggest part first, just in case you make a mistake. If you make a mistake, then you can probably reuse that bigger piece to cut out a slightly smaller piece. So I'm going to pin the pattern to the back of the fabric. I see people doing this the opposite way around, where they would write on the face of the fabric. I very rarely do that. I only do that if there's a pattern that I need to match up and I can't match it up from the back. Then I will actually do the writing or the drawing out of the pattern on the good side of the fabric. It's not really the correct way to do it, in my opinion. If you make mistakes on the back side, it doesn't really matter. If you make mistakes on the face of the fabric, then it could be an issue. So this is just a half pattern, so it will get flipped over. So these patterns are on Mylar, my preferred method of putting patterns onto. So putting all the match marks on, quite an important thing to do. So I now need to fold back these pieces here. So I'm going to do all the centre panels first. So I'm going to spray a bit of silicone spray onto the blades of the scissors. This just stops the glue sticking to the scissors. So that's all those done. And that's those done. So now that I've got all the pieces foamed back that I need foamed back in, I need to plan out the stitching, exactly where I need to put it. Now, the most critical part on this is this piece here. So I'm going to make a little, once a pattern, but I'm just going to use a little bit of patterning fabric to draw out the dimensions of this, and then plan where I'm going to put the stitching, because I want the stitching here to be even. It's having tram lines stitched in, so 2 rows of stitching side by side going this way. I'll probably end up putting 3 in here, but I need to work out exactly where they're going to go, and once I've done that I can transfer it, or once I've done it on the patterning plastic, I'll transfer it over to the piece, draw the lines on, do it on the other pieces as well that I need to do, and then yeah, just do the sewing. So now this is just a case of drawing lines. So it's now time to top stitch all these centre panels, but before I do any sewing on the centre panels, I'm going to do a little bit of a test. So I've got a piece here, so this is just the same fabric with the same foam on the back as the centre panels. I've drawn a couple of lines on. I need to check the stitch size that I'm going to use and the tension of the machine, make sure everything is okay, and also I need to get my eye in. So I'm not going to sew straight onto these and hope that obviously I'm sewing well this morning, because it is still quite early. So I'll do a couple of lines and just get the rhythm of the sewing in, and make sure I've got my eye in and everything is okay before I do the centre panels. So you should always do this when you sew anything, have a little piece of what you're sewing. So if you're sewing 3 layers together, then do the test on 3 layers. If you're going to sew in 1 layer, do the test on 1 layer. It will alter the tension of the machine depending on how thick the fabric is and what kind of fabric it is, how thick the thread is, how big the stitching is. So everything has got to be the same when you do the test as it is when you do the actual pieces you're working on, just to make sure everything is how it should be. So just checking the front and the back of the piece, just to make sure everything is okay. So I'm happy enough with that, as you can see. So I'm going to do the smaller pieces first. If I make a mistake on the smaller pieces, I don't waste quite as much. There we go. That was the last one done. So I just got into a proper rhythm then at the end. It's sometimes the way it goes. They're all done now and I'm pretty pleased with them. They're all pretty straight, and I'm now going to start sewing all the pieces onto, well, I need to sew these pieces together, and then I'll sew all the pieces onto them. So I'll work from the centre outwards. Piece. So I'm going to sew the centre panels together now. So I need to sew a pocket on at the same time. So that's the centre panels all sewn together now. I'm going to now sew the bolsters onto each one of those, then the borders, then top stitch the borders, sew the backs on, all the little bits that need going on, the plastic bits that attach the cover to the seat, and I'll fit them. Easy as that. That's one done. So that's the covers now all sewn together. What I need to do next is to remove all the plastic parts from the old covers and then sew them onto the new covers. So the side bolster on the driver's seat here needs a little bit of TLC. It's not in terrible condition, but it just needs a little bit more foam attaching to that. So we're on, but we just need some adjustment now. I'm just going to give this a steam. So that's one seat done. So now on to the backrest. So I'm going to put this on the floor to get the cover on. This makes my life a little bit easier. So with covers like this, I like to put them on like that, upside down, inside out, and roll them on. So what I'm doing at the minute is just turning the seam on the back. This can be quite tricky to get in. There we go. So now I can finish rolling this on. Making sure the seams are turned the right way. So this hole that's here, this wire has got to go in there, and they're a pain, absolute pain. It's a case of just pushing the cover and trying to pull the wire at the same time. Oh, that wasn't too bad, actually. Normally they're a lot worse than that. So we're in. So that wasn't too bad. I'm going to cut out for the headrest posts, and just got to make the armrests. So I'm going to give it a final steam, and then I'll make the armrest for this one.